Hi everyone, welcome to your yoga practice today, and it's with pleasure that I spend another week with the Bury College students, maybe staff, some of you might be parents of students, whoever is accessing this, you're warmly invited to your practice, home to yourself, and to begin with, down onto the ground and onto your back. And we begin our practice this way most weeks, so that we are moving in ways that are familiar for the body, especially during winter. This is especially important. So scoot towards the front edge of your mat, release down, make space for the back of the neck. Start to land down through the places in your body where you're meeting the ground. And start to really root down into the ground through the feet and through the back of the pelvis, and up into the upper back and the shoulders, the elbows, letting the hands touch the ground and release down through the back of the head. Noticing if there's room for you to let the head be a little heavier. Can you relax the head some more? As you rest on the back of your body, notice or pay attention to sensations in the back of the body. Maybe this position is really comfortable for you, or you might be feeling, actually, I'm not good here. I need to move, I need to adjust. Now is the perfect time for all of that. Moving and adjusting and experiencing and exploring as we try and settle. We try and sift through the layers of the day and put down what has happened before and shift back away from what's yet to come. Just spend some time here right now. Closing the eyes if it feels good to close the eyes, relaxing the face. Relax into the area around the neck and the throat, and feel the breath come and go, easy. Nothing fancy with the breath, just breathing relaxed. And approaching this practice in this way gives you time to sense what's happening inside, from the skin through to the soft tissue and the muscle, the bone. And as you sink your bones towards the ground, get a feeling of the ground rising up beneath you to hold your weight. So the next time you breathe out, give your weight over to the ground. Invite the hands to come to rest on your body. Bring the left hand around the heart area and the right hand towards your belly, your abdomen. Sense into the rise and the fall of the chest and the abdomen as you breathe. See if you notice a pattern. Is the breath revealing itself, or is it becoming shy and quiet? Are you finding yourself breathing really robotic because you started to watch it and to feel the breath, and maybe that's scared the breath off? Have patience, be curious. Sense the way the breath moves like a wave through the chest into the belly, from the belly up through the chest, out through the nose, in through the nose. Whatever else is happening around you right now, you're taking these beautiful big breaths. So stay with the feeling of the breath. Ask yourself how you feel. How do I feel as I come to my practice? How is my body? What is the quality of my breath? How am I feeling in the mind, emotionally? A moment of honesty, a moment of listening. And then trying to answer those questions, not with the mind, but with the body. Start to find space between the fingers and the toes as you inhale, stretching out the hands, the feet. Exhale and make fists with the hands, clench the toes, experience a contraction through the joints and the muscles, these small ones at the very edges of the body. Breathe in, inviting space between them. Lots of space, nice big stretch. Exhale, reverse that movement, clench the hands, clench the toes. Continue this movement now of stretching arms overhead and feet away as you breathe in. Making these breaths nice and big and intentional, breathing out, gather the knees towards the chest, hug around the shins. You gather into the center to your navel, everything circling back to the middle. And then as you breathe out, everything extends and releases outwards. Nice big stretch. And if this ever becomes too much for you, you can just always go back to having your feet on the floor instead. Otherwise, as you exhale, gather the knees in, draw the feet off the floor. Inhale, create a nice long stretch, slinking away through the heels. Exhale, maybe this time as the navel gathers to the spine, towards the earth, you can bring the head to the knees. Inhale, release down, touch the toes, slide onto the heels as you extend back into the fingers. Good, this time as you gather your knees in towards your chest, just feel into the weight of them. Let the belly relax to the floor, let the thighs relax onto your belly and feel the breath. Sense the breath right down into the hip creases. It feels as though you couldn't breathe down into those spaces because the thighs are there. But mentally, visually, see the hip fronts expand as you breathe in, down, into the base of the belly. Good, exhale and place the left foot down and just hug the right foot in, or the knee, the shin, wherever you have hold. Breathing just into the right hip now. And we send the breath to where there is tension. And with every breath, we ask the body to soften and to relax. And this starts in the face. Good, inhale, release the left foot to the floor and swap sides, taking the left knee in now as you breathe out. Relax the weight of this leg completely so that it softens your belly. And this helps with our digestion, it can stimulate the digestive system. Use the inhalation to place the left foot down. And then we'll just take one breath in each movement. So exhale, right knee comes in. Inhale, right foot comes down. Exhale, left knee comes in. Inhale, left foot comes down. Exhale, right knee comes in. Just continue this way. Synchronize breath with movement. The arms could be doing, just simply what mine are doing. Holding onto the shin. Or you could reach back through the fingertips each time. Travel to the end of the range of movement in the hip. Bring the knee as close as you can, as the glute muscles and the thighs allow. Good. And when you've done the next one on the left, you'd have done an equal amount on both. And you can take a nice big stretch overhead through the arms. Breathe into the chest and around the heart. Exhale, lift the feet, bring the knees in. This time the hands sweep behind the legs and hold on or catch hold of the back of the thighs. And we can start to rock up and down the back, massaging the vertebrae. It feels really nice actually. Keep the chin tucked in so that you could roll up towards the upper back between the shoulders and all the way to sitting. If rolling up to sitting, if it doesn't suit your body, it doesn't feel comfortable, you can roll over to one side and come up to sitting that way. Coming into Sukhasana now, so placing the feet beneath the knees and stacking your spine like building blocks around this new vertical position. So we've come from laying down on the ground to arranging the spine up towards the sky. So lift through the crown of the head. Release down, relax through the sit bones, the outer edges of the feet. Good, bring the fingertips to the floor and then the palms. Softening into the index finger and the thumb, in the space between those. Stretching out the hips and taking a couple of breaths here. Each time that you fully breathe out, exhaling completely, Relax then the area of the belly, the area around the floating ribs. Inhale then into the space, into that relaxed space of the ribs, the lowest ones, the floating ones. Taking a big full breath into the sides of the ribs, into the side waist. Breathing out, keeping the shoulders relaxed, any tension free from the jaw. Gently pulling back from the navel as you inhale, swapping the legs around. Bringing the hands to the floor again and noticing how you feel the pelvis in contact with the ground. You want to feel into the outer edges of the feet. And then we're breathing again into the back, into the lower back. And you can take the hands as far forward as you like. Perhaps you have a lot of flexibility in the hips and you can come really far forwards whilst maintaining the length of your spine, keeping the spine nice and tall. Wherever you find yourself, try to relax the lower half of your body and then breathe into the back of your lungs, of your rib cage. One more breath. Use the inhalation. Imagine a thread behind the navel is gently pulling you back. And then we'll bring the right leg on top of the left and tuck the left foot in by the hip, by the sit bones. You're going to use your right hand to take hold of this right foot and the ankle, keep it stable. The fingers are then going to create spaces between the toes and stretch out the spaces between the toes. Some people love this feeling, other people really dislike it. And hopefully you'll be of the liking camp as you circle or rotate in the ankle. Freeing up or unlocking space in the ankle is a really lovely way to unlock space all the way through the legs and up into the rest of the body. Pause and take the circles the other way, sensing into the ankle joint. And try not to let this movement become mechanical. You really want to feel into the joint, the fluid of the joint. We'll take one or two more here. Good. And then relax, release the fingers from the toes. Swap sides when you're ready. Tucking the right foot by your hips, or your outer hips, and then bringing the left foot above. Now, if you have problems stacking the knees in this way, it's not comfortable for you, it might be better to work with the leg extended. So the right leg is out ahead of you, and we place the fingers then in between each of the toes. And if your toes are as cold as mine are today, on this cold December day, then you might still be wearing fluffy socks. If that's the case, you can hold on to the top of the foot and find ways around this to give your toes a stretch another time or in a different way. Some of you might have those yoga socks that give you space between your toes. That can be quite nice. And we're celebrating here the space between the toes and the spaces within the joint. And then pause and reverse that movement. And as you can see, I'm sat on a blanket, and if you're at home and you have blankets and pillows, don't be afraid to use them to create some height beneath the pelvis. Give your hips some space, be kind to yourself. Two more this way, and then we'll relax hold of the feet, give the legs a nice stretch out ahead of us, a nice shaky shake, and come back into Sukhasana, seated with the legs crossed. We'll interlace the hands now, bringing one hand on top of the other, and then interlace the fingers. Let the hands rest in the lap. Relax the shoulders down. Get a sense of the tip of your tongue at the back of your top row of teeth. And relax the root of it, the root of the tongue. The tongue feeds our awareness in from the outer body to the inner body. It's like the bridge between the two. And as you relax the base of the tongue, the very soft kind of fleshy bit at the bottom of the tongue, you relax right down into your belly, making space for the breath. So we'll take a nice big breath in here. And then as you breathe out, turn to look to the left. Inhale, bring the head to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhaling to the left. Inhale to the center, just continuing this way. And because the movement is small, the breath is small, and the two things mirror one another. But all the while there is this attention not just to the neck and the stretch there, but to the inner experience of the throat, the windpipe, down into the chest, through the heart, into the soft organ body. Good, relax the shoulders and take the head back to center. On a breath out, we're going to tilt the head over to the left. Inhale, lift the head to center. Exhale, right ear over right shoulder. Breathe in, take it back. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the middle. We'll continue this way, using just the weight of the head to stretch out the side of the neck and the sides of the throat, and right up through to the ears. Playing with the weight of the head, really experiencing it, maybe for the first time today, this week, this year. Good, inhale, take it to center. Breathe out, lower chin down to chest. Inhale, draw a line with the nose, looking up, stretching the front of the chest, lifting from the breastbone, exhaling down. Continue this way, breathing in, making space at the front of the body, at the front of the throat. Exhale, relaxing the chin back down. And feeling like the breath and the movement are inseparable. They're completely interlinked. And after a while, you might even sense the pauses at the end of the breath in and at the end of the breath out. At the end of this next breath out, with your chin down, pause, and then start to circle clockwise, so up to the right and then round and down to the left. Phasing the breath around this circle now, stimulating lots of pressure points around the throat that correspond to the organs, the organ body. And we know that in the winter, because our circulation is decreased, the efficiency of our organs are decreased, and this is a great way for us to charge them up. Pause when the chin is down, and then take those circles all the way back the other way. Round and round. Drawing a circular spiral with the head on the ceiling. Sensing all the way around this circle at the top of the spine. And we'll take a couple more and we'll pause when the chin is down. Waiting for the movement to end, and then lifting the chest and lifting the arms and interlacing the fingers now, with the elbows lifted, rolling into the wrists. And for some people this movement is quite difficult, and if it is, then find a different way to roll the wrists. What you don't want is to create tension, confusion, distraction for your mind, so let it be easy. Have a look at which way your hands are going. Usually you can see whether the fingers are coming towards you or away from you, and reverse the movement. And in the same way as we did with the ankles, really zone in with your Jedi kind of mind beams into the wrists, into the fluid of the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. Good, relaxing the hands down then to the top of the thighs, looping them a couple of times forwards. Maybe pressing lightly but firmly through the hands into the top of the thighs, stretching out the front of the hips from sitting for long periods of time. Roll the shoulders back the other way now. Off the front of the torso, down towards the back of the pelvis. Pressing through those arms, through the elbows, into the wrists. 2 more. Good, relax it down, bend the elbows and start to swing yourself into some twists, twisting or turning the waist. And as you turn the waist, let the front hand tap the space in the corner of the chest, and this helps you to channel into the lungs and the energy of the lungs. The hand behind you is flicking up the back and tapping your kidneys and the area around your floating rib, the lowest ones. Good, a couple more from side to side. And then let the hand that comes ahead of you stay there. Place the top or the back one above it. Relax the wrists. Start to circle the rib cage like a genie in a bottle. Or imagine that you're kind of cleaning out the inside of a barrel with your rib cage. Connecting also into your pelvis now. You can keep the eyes closed, soften the gaze, pause, and come back the other way. Feeling this movement from the center, from your navel or just above or just below, whatever feels like the center for you. A couple more rotations this way. Good, and then soften that movement, let it fade out. Take a big breath in, nice big stretch. And as you yawn or release or sigh, the breath out will rain the fingers down and interlace them behind us. Bend the elbows, draw the shoulder blades towards one another. If it's too strong, just hold on to your elbows instead, or you can press now through the knuckles towards the ground behind you. Shifting again, the shoulders back off the front of the chest, unlocking space, energy across the collarbones. Nice smile here. And relax that down. We'll shift over into tabletop. So arranging yourself into this beautifully symmetrical, nice and stable position. Once you have a feeling of your wrists supporting your shoulders, your knees supporting your hips, then you can draw the shoulders back, lift up out of them through the back of the body. Wait for an inhalation and then dip the belly and open the heart as if you're shining the light of your heart towards the horizon. Exhale and let the light of your heart shine towards the back of your mat or between your legs or towards your knees, bringing your energy in. Inhale, dipping the belly, shining the light of your heart ahead. Keep those shoulders back from the ears. Continuing to stretch and release. And find space all the way up and down the length of your spine. Move with the breath. And if you find that you've stopped moving with the breath, then just stop moving for a moment and gather yourself. And round as you breathe out, really pressing the earth away from you and finding space all through the back of the spine. And then as you breathe in, dipping the belly, lifting your tail, shoulder blades drawing real close. Good, come to center, spread the knees, take the big toes together and sink your hips, your sit bones back onto your heels. Coming into child's pose, supported on the fists or resting the forehead down on the ground. Relax into the base of the index finger and into the base of the thumb again, and relax the whole of the soft tissue in the hands. The arms are straight because the elbows are working here. If the head is down, relax completely through the front of the head. And then use the breath in to lift you into tabletop. Tuck the toes and press up and back into downward facing dog. Bringing the feet a bit closer together, maybe even a bit closer towards you. Adjusting your position. Feeding into the support you're getting from the joints. And the way they're stacked. Inhale and roll the body forward so that the shoulders come above the wrists, lower the knees, the spine is lovely and long. Exhale, continuing to keep that length. Feed your tailbone back, bring the head to the earth. Inhale and rise to tabletop. Tuck under the toes, stretch the soles of the feet. Exhale, lift the knees. Knees bend, spine extends. Tail is lifted, and if like me today, you're channeling a monkey tail, then it might be lifting right up into the treetops. Picking up something good from the trees. Just imagine your hips lifting up and back. Breathe in and shift forwards. Use the support of your abdominals. Knees lower together. Exhale, child's pose. Moving with each phase of the breath. One more breath in to take us up. This time as you breathe out, step the left leg back, toes under a nice long line at the back of the left leg. Inhale to lift the leg. Exhale to bend the knee and bring it towards you. And as you bring it towards you, you're rounding like you would in the cat position, drawing your nose towards your knee. Inhale, reach the left leg back, open the heart, shoulders back from the ears. Exhale, gathering the knee towards your nose, your navel towards your spine. Inhale, extend and reach across the body. Plant the left toes down, come on to the left foot, shifting your weight into the right side of your body and bringing yourself into a supported side plank. Hugging your side waist up away from the ground. Continue that lift all the way up through the left fingertips. Sharing your weight between all of the places where you touch the ground. Even the top of that right foot. Exhale, rotate with control and lower. The left hand, bring the left knee beneath you, round up through the spine. Ease out the wrists by coming onto the fingertips, really pressing between the shoulder blades as you tuck your tail now between your legs. Breathe in, let your tail be free, come onto the palms of the hands. Stretch back through the right leg. And sometimes when you stretch back through the right leg, the body does this involuntary kind of subconscious moving, and let it be. Follow the intuition of your body, okay? You've shown up for yourself and you've been in this body for long enough to know what it needs. So listening and following the cues your body gives you as you inhale will lift. Keep the hips level with the floor. Find that lift through the breastbone, the front of the chest. And then as you exhale, we're rounding, taking nose to knee, navel to spine. Inhale, find that lovely long line, that stretch, and maybe even stretch through each of the toes. Exhale, round the spine, press through the hands, arching through the back. Inhale, breathing in a lovely long line. One more here. And in the same way that we did last time, we'll place the right toes down, looking for at least hip distance between the feet. Right heel comes down. Lift your inner ankle and bring your right hand onto your hip. Find those vertical lines of support through the joints. Trust in the joints, okay? Trust in the gravity that holds you down as you reach through the fingers up into the sky. Unlock space for the breath in the lungs and the chest. Exhale, gently pivot back towards the ground, dial the heart towards the earth, round in the spine. Maybe this time onto fists, making fists that face one another and doming and lifting the upper back. Good, exhale, sit the bottom back, rest down into child's pose. Stacking the fists, maybe one potato two, or with the arms outstretched, palms facing the sky. As your belly is compressed against your thighs, it really helps now to pay attention to the breath in the lower back. And if you're comfortable in your shoulders, let's say your head rests all the way down, then you could even bring the palms of your hands onto the area above your pelvis and just beneath your ribs. And breathe into those and feel the expansion into the palms. One more breath in, and we'll use that to sweep the arms ahead of us, to rise to tabletop. Tuck the toes and press up into downward facing dog. From here, experience the stretch now of the back of the legs and the hamstrings and the calves. Trying to release the heels towards the ground, but keeping this lift up through the pelvis. Good. Start to walk the feet towards the hands. Walking your way there, keeping yourself curious, so no rush. When the toes and the feet come between the hands, you can take hold around the ankles or just let the fingertips touch the floor either side of the toes. And exhale to relax and fold and tuck the chin and bow generously. Feel into the soles of the feet and lift up from the feet, up through the legs, opening up the arms and taking them up into the sky. As you exhale, scoop the upper back, round through the spine and feed the hands down the middle. So you will be roughly around the front edge of your mat. From time to time I'm going to face you so that you can see what it looks like from a different angle, but you want to bring your feet to around about hip distance. So at the front edge of your mat with the feet around about hip distance, come to hug around the side waist and bring the fingers to touch around about the navel or just above the navel. Okay, so my thumbs aren't very far around the back. Bring the feet as close together as is comfortable, but hip distance is good for those of you who are maybe new to the practice or don't trust your balance today. Good, feel into the feet. And on an inhalation, we're going to lift up the heels. On an exhalation, lower down. And we're lowering down with control, more control than mine, much more controlled. As you breathe in, slowly lifting the heels away from the earth. Engaging the calf muscles. Exhale, gently lowering back down. And if it helps to imagine your tailbone, imagine I've tied a really heavy rope to your tailbone, and that heavy rope is dropping down to the space between your heels. And that's helping to anchor you to the ground. So that as you release down, you're releasing down through the heels and also through the tailbone, the sacrum. 2 more this way. Good, and then we'll take a nice big overhead stretch, maybe even onto the tips of the toes as we were. Interlace the fingers at the top and press up through the palms of the hands. Steady yourself, come down if you need to, or exhale into a lateral bend, side bend, stretching out one side of the body, inhaling to center. Keeping up on those toes if you can. Exhale the opposite way. Good. Inhale, let the energy lift you to center. Exhale, release the arms and the heels, nice and controlled. Bring the hands to rest on the hips. Step the feet apart if they were close. Wind the hips round or snake the hips round 3 times. Maybe still imagining the rope, the heavy rope, releasing down from the back of the pelvis. Come back the other way if you haven't. Sometimes I lose myself in these circles. So I'll say 3, and after 6, I'm still going. So if you're watching this back, then, you know, expect that I've done way more than 3. Slow it all the way down to stillness. Step the feet together if you're comfortable, or hip distance if you prefer, towards the front edge of your mat for Surya Namaskar. Loop the shoulders, soften the knees, release the shoulder blades down the back of your body, and find a sense of buoyancy, as if the earth has you. It's got you back, so you can relax, so you can chill into the feet. Lift from under the heart, and inhale, sweep the arms out, lifting the energy up and between the palms. Exhale, send that energy down the front of your body and your awareness all the way as you tip forwards to the ground. Relax the crown of your head, nod, give it a shake. Inhale, start to ragdoll back up through the body, reaching fingertips skywards, awakening the body, giving it life, giving it heat. Exhale, releasing the hands down towards the ground. Good, from here, step the left foot back and then the right foot back, coming into a plank pose. Allowing for the body to be a nice straight line, no sagging of the hips, no halfway between down dog. Shoulders over the wrists, breathe in here, hug your arms into the sides of your body. As you exhale, bend your elbows and hover towards the ground. Press through the toes and send your body through the hands. Inhale then into upward facing dog on the tops of your feet. Wrists beneath your shoulders, legs are active. Exhale, tuck the toes and press up through the sit bones to downward facing dog. Now that's your vinyasa. Tying our movements together are those three components: plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And we'll give some variations for those, but for now just breathe into the belly, free up your tail, lift the pelvis, and on an inhalation lift the left leg. Exhale, bring the knee in towards the nose, the navel towards the spine, step the foot forwards. Right knee comes down, left thumb hooks into the left hip crease, and as we inhale, we'll pull up, reaching up through the right fingertips. Nice stretch across the front of the body. You can lift the gaze, but don't tip the spine backwards, keep it vertical. Exhale, reach through the fingertips, taking the right hand to the outside of that left knee, reaching back then through those left fingertips into a lovely twist. And you really want to relax your belly and breathe down into the soft organs. Exhale, close this twist down. Bring the fingertips to the floor. Back toes tuck and we walk the hips back, lifting the front heel. Let it lift naturally. Don't force anything here. You can keep a bend in the knee if you need it, or you can start to relax the spine forwards. Taking your time to feel the breath and soften the muscles in the back of the legs so that they will give you some space. Hips back. Inhale, pace your way forwards. Shift this left foot back into plank pose. So you can go from plank through chaturanga to upward facing dog as we did, or you can lower the knees and hook the ankles. Then practice chaturanga, lowering completely down onto the belly, onto the tops of the feet. Inhale, peel the chest away from the ground into a low cobra. Focus on pressing through the heart forwards. Exhale, folding. Tuck the toes and come back up through tabletop. It's up to you. You know, some days you need a practice that is vigorous and energetic and challenging maybe. And other days you don't. You need a practice that's like a big warm hug, that is easy. And as you breathe in, I want you to lift the back of this right leg now, lift the heel. Exhale, bring the navel to the spine, step the right foot forwards. Left knee down. Right thumb into the hip crease helps to guide that right hip back as we lift the left arm and the spine. So with your arm extended, I'll keep mine down for now. We're going to lift as if we have a helium balloon tied beneath the heart. Begin the twist from the belly, from the navel. Feed those left fingertips as if they're going beyond the front edge of the mat, to the outside edge of the right knee. Peel back into your twist, gazing maybe to the back of your mat. If you lose your footing, then know that you might have gone too far. At the same time, it's really nice to extend all the way through the spine in that rotation. Come back on an exhale. Release back into plank pose. Inhale here, and as you exhale, we're going to lower down onto the belly. Breathe in, lift the chest. Cobra. Exhale, folding forwards. As you tuck your toes and press all the way up and back into downward facing dog, experience the feeling of being upside down. After several of these, we can move that awareness and the attention to detail around the body. As we warm up into our practice, inhale, look ahead of you. Begin to walk the feet towards the hands. Folding forwards generously when you get there. Knees are nice and soft. Inhale, open up your wings, lift through the upper back. Sweeping the arms up to the sky and the breastbone. Exhale, hands to the heart. Relax through the shoulders. Relax down into the soles of the feet. Fingertips facing the ground as you exhale. Breathing in, create that nice big circle around the body. Breathing out, feed the hands down through the center line. Hinging at the hips. Folding and rounding forwards into Uttanasana. Stepping back into plank pose. Remember, you could always do a half plank instead. Coming through Chaturanga practice, lowering the knees, linking the ankles, or exhale, coming down. Exhale more to feed the body through. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, lower the knees, tuck the toes, pressing back, down dog. Taking a nice big breath in here into the hip creases, the front of the hips as you pedal or walk out the heels. Stretching the back line of the body. Breathe in, lift the left leg up and back, nice big stretch. Breathing out, step the foot forwards. Bring your right heel down now and take some time to adjust the feet. We're going to lift into a warrior one. So as you come up, imagine or even place that left thumb into the hip crease. Guide the hip back as you lift up, bringing the hands into the heart, warrior one. My right heel is plugged in. You can feel the leg working and stretching. Left knee is over the left ankle, tracking the toes. The hips are like headlamps facing forwards, so are the shoulders. Really strong in your warrior. Good, as you breathe in, we're going to stretch or extend through the fingertips skywards. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, let the hands come down the midline, round the back of your body as we fold forwards, humble warrior. Chest and abdomen come down over this left leg, and at the same time we're reaching back through the knuckles, through the fingertips. Feel the connection through both of your feet, really plug down into the earth and lift using the upper back. Inhale. Warrior one. Exhale. Floating hands down to the ground, stepping back into plank. Getting a bit of momentum for Chaturanga. Exhaling down towards the ground and through. Breathing in when you come into upward facing dog and the knees are lifted off the ground because you're on the tops of those feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting the navel and the pelvis up away from gravity. Like two playing cards stacked towards one another. Use both sides of the body. Breathe in, lift the right leg. Breathe out, bring it through, step it between the hands. Plugging now the left heel down to the ground. Making space between the feet and rising up with the right hip back, left hip drawn forwards, hands into the heart space. Relax the muscles around your glutes and just yield your energy, your weight into the feet. Breathe in. Lift the arms, lift the gaze. Breathe out. Fold forwards. Humble warrior. Hands resting on the lower back or reaching up towards the back corner of your room. Feel into the left foot, the foot that's behind you, and use that to stabilize you as you sweep the arms forwards, the chest lifts. Warrior one. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Stepping back into plank. Coming down through Chaturanga, bend the elbows. Exhale more, feed the body through. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. Tailbone lifting skywards. Broad across the back. Feel the shoulder blades traveling away from the spine to hug the outer edges of the torso. Inhale into the back door of the heart, the back region of the lungs. Inhale, lower the knees together. Exhale, sit back, child's pose. Knees might be wide or knees might come together. I'll sit up so that you can hear me. So if you look up, I'll be knelt down, but you're hopefully folded forwards in child's pose. Trying to relax the front of your body towards the ground. The heart is melting towards the earth. The pelvis is really grounded on your heels, and if it isn't, bring a pillow, bring some blankets between your heels and your bottom, or at the back of the knees if they are experiencing tightness, and we'll pause here for a couple of breaths. Child's pose is a beautiful way for us to restore some balance in the body. The heart and the head are aligned to give the heart a rest, to improve the function of the organs and the circulation. It also helps us unlock the awareness of the back of our bodies, which is said to help combat depression and feelings of anxiety. Just to let your awareness rest in the back of your body. So we'll breathe with awareness there. And then on an inhalation, rise up into or onto your wrists, into tabletop. Then down onto your forearms. Elbows are in line with your knees and the tops of your feet and the index fingers. And the hips will stay vertical right above the knees all the way throughout this pose. As you relax, maybe the elbows a bit further away from you. You might find that you have the range of movement through the shoulders and the upper back to relax down onto the forehead. Some of you might find that you're flexible enough, or you have enough range through the back of the body to rest the heart down. Wherever you are in this Anahata Asana, we are melting the heart to the ground. So even if it's forearms to the ground and forehead to the ground, or whether you're extended all the way, that the heart is resting down, no matter where you are, the action is the same. This softening around the middle back, between the shoulder blades. And then focus on the elbows, on the palms, on the knees, the tops of the feet. And use those to stabilize you as we roll the body through and down into Sphinx pose. And you still need to wriggle into a feeling of comfort there for the front of the body. The hips and the belly are down. And for a moment, we'll stack the fists, rest the weight of the head, lift the heels. And just drop the weight of the heels towards the hips, towards the sit bones. Then we can windscreen wipe the legs from side to side, inviting space at the waist, and easing out any niggliness in the lower back. When the feet come in line with the hips, we're going to rest them down, relax them down to the floor. Lifting back onto the forearms. So we'll keep the right forearm down on the ground, okay, and lift up through the left leg. So we're lifting the left foot off the floor, dropping the heel towards the sit bones. Reach back with the left hand, taking hold of the foot or maybe the ankle, the outer ankle. And pause there, just experiencing a stretch through the front of the thigh and the hip and the belly. Or you can lift your heel up away from the floor, up away from your sit bones. Exhale to relax the leg down. Swap hands. Same deal on the opposite side. So firstly, the right foot lifts. You might be doing the same, you might be doing an opposite side now, if you didn't do left first. Sweep the right hand back, take hold of the foot. Feel the stretch, just passively there. And if you want to, as you inhale, lift that leg up away from you, lift the heel from the sit bones. Exhale down. And you can do that one more time to each side. You can stay with that movement, or you can catch hold of both of the outside edges of the feet. lifting the shoulders away from the earth, the front of the body away from the earth, and the heels away from your sit bones into a bow pose. Dhanurasana can then be followed by the beautiful counter pose that is Balasana, the pose of the child. This time you might consider sweeping the hands by the feet and relaxing down onto the space between the eyes and the eyebrows. And even if you have been practicing just asymmetrically one at a time as you build up the space for deeper back bends, still come into a child's pose to counterbalance. Relaxing fully forwards for at least a breath before rolling over onto the back of your body for some work in our reversion before we rest. So dropping the weight of the spine into the ground and feeling back into the waves of the breath, with the palms on the belly. Sense the way that each breath invites expansion in the belly, space. And as you breathe out, how the belly sinks back towards the ground and towards your spine. Notice how the breath feels and watch it as it comes back to steadiness. Good. Place the hands on the floor and make sure that the heels are supported with the knees. Bring them closer. Lengthen through the spine. Lift the head off the ground and take space into the back of the neck. When you place it down, tuck the chin. And on an inhalation, peel the spine off the floor nice and slow from the pelvis up through the lower back, the middle of the back to the shoulders and the upper back. Exhale, slowly releasing back down. Shoulders, upper, middle back, lower back, and then the back of the pelvis. And we'll roll the spine up and off the floor and then back down again 2 more times. Seeing if we can really allow the breath to control this movement. As if we wanted to feel each vertebra coming up one at a time, each segment of the spine lowering down one at a time. And once you've done that twice more, you're going to hold the hips high. And with the hips high, drive the knees forwards. Use the feeling of contact at the soles of the feet and the earth. And press through the legs. Using the energy of the thighs to hold the hips up and to tip the heart higher than the head. Again, helping to improve circulation and blood flow to the organs, the respiratory organs and the throat and the brain. Relax the shoulders and open up the area around the heart. Sometimes opening the palms helps with this. And you can hold this pose for anywhere up to 20 breaths. Slowly then releasing or easing your way down through the spine. Where you can bring the knees in, the thighs against the belly. And enjoy the pressure here on the back line of the body, or gently relax into some rocking for the big muscles either side of the spine, the softening around the back of the rib cage and into the glute muscles and around the hips. So be kind, be gentle, be soft, and then we can relax down fully into a comfortable position for you for relaxation. For some, that's feet on the floor, knees bent, head supported maybe on a blanket or something of that kind. Others of you might prefer to have the legs all the way extended. And because we are practicing at home, you might have some things that could support you even further. So for example, you might have extra blankets which you can place beneath the pelvis, or underneath the knees, the neck. If anyone's feeling particularly anxious or overwhelmed at any point during this Christmas period, then this relaxation could be very helpful at letting the senses rest and taking a trip to some quiet, peaceful stillness that we have inside waiting to be unlocked, like the secret garden sanctuary. So come to rest in whatever way is most comfortable for you. Close the eyes or soften the gaze. If you have anything to hand that could bring a bit of pressure to the space between the eyebrows, like an eye pillow or a wheat bag, a bean bag, something like this can really help the eyes to close and for the face to relax. But if you don't, just the act of closing the eyes can help shut down our visual sense or turn it inward, so that we might be sensing colour and shape behind the eyelids. Or if they're open, just observing, filtering in the light, the colour, without looking. I'm not looking for anything in particular. We want to relax this need to do, to look, to see. So feel the muscles behind the eyes relax. And feel into the roundedness of the eyes in their sockets. Feel them resting, knowing that there's nothing more for you to see right now. Nothing outside of yourself that is as important as this practice right now. So let them rest and become aware of what you hear through the ears. You might also be able to perceive sound or vibration through the body if there are people moving around in your home, or if there are others that live beneath you, above you. You might feel the way that others move in the home through the vibrational quality, being soaked up by the bones of your body. Maybe you can just hear really far out into the road, into the woods, up high into the sky, to the birds. Let it all filter in, all the sounds. And then come back steadily to the sound of your breath. The sound of your breath. Sounding familiar. Each one of these breaths that you take feels familiar, but is brand new. Every time you take a breath in, every time you relax and release the breath out, it's like a new beginning. Experiencing something new, but something familiar as if for the first time. You might hear the sound of your breath, or feel the movement of your breath in the body. No matter what is happening around you that is beyond your control, it is within your control to stop and pause and notice the breath, yours. Notice your body. Notice the little involuntary movements your body might still be making. All the way from time to time the mind walks off, takes a detour. Take it by the hand and bring it back to a sensing of the breath, the body, the ground, the things that are here and now, in this moment. whole body is resting down. The whole body is held by the earth. Both of the legs and both of the feet. The pelvis connecting them to the torso. Resting down, held by the earth. Through the shoulders and the arms and the hands. Let them rest. Let go of them and of the shoulder blades and the neck, the collarbones and the throat. Let go of the head. Let go of the head. Let the brain rest. Let it relax. Feel the scalp. Rest the forehead. Sense the breath. Pause and let it go. Let it all go. On the breath out, let it all go. And breathe in a couple more moments of this space and time and clarity. Exhale, letting go deeper into your body, into the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Take a moment or two longer just to soak up all of the goodness of that practice. Keeping the eyes closed. Start to get a sense of the body. Start to get a sense of the breath again. Invite the breath to lengthen. Feel the breath becoming longer and bringing life back into the body. And feel that life creeping into the fingers, and the fingers wiggle and jiggle, and so do the toes. And over time, we might find these movements in the fingers and the toes are becoming bigger, and we might stretch overhead or through the legs. Taking some time to yawn and stretch and keep the eyes closed. Rock over onto one side of your body. Pause there, take stock, feel the ground. Notice the way that you're stacked. Feel this familiar position. And then as you roll up through the spine to seated, we'll invite the hands into the heart space, closing down the practice and both sides of the body, joining together in harmony as one in the center. And we can bow to ourselves in the greatness of our bodies and the miracle of the breath, the earth that's beneath us, the sky above every day, without question. Namaskaram, thank you for coming to the practice and for showing up for yourself. And I hope that you take some of the energy of that that you cultivated inside off into the rest of your week and into Christmas. And I hope you all have a really magical one, and that we can spend time together yogaing again soon.